We're going to let people filter in. Welcome to the Beyond AP After the Test in Next Year's session. We've got a fun fact poll running if you want to weigh in on what you think the first commercially available video game was. And then as people kind of settle in, we'll go ahead and take care of some housekeeping and introductions and get started. All right, so our session is going to be scheduled for 45 minutes. If you wouldn't mind keeping your microphone muted, that would be much appreciated while the presentation is going on. We will be taking questions, so if you'd like to ask a question at any point, you can add that to the Q&A tool. So if you look at the bottom of your Zoom window, there should be a button in the toolbar that says Q&A, and you can put your questions in there. We'll also have the chat going, so if you have any issues or just want to communicate or converse with other attendees, you're welcome to do so in the chat. We are recording this session and it will be made available on the CodeHS YouTube channel after the conference, and we will send a link out to all of you once that is posted and available. All of the sessions for today's conference will be recorded, so if you're missing something, had to make a choice about what you wanted to go to, you'll be able to go back and watch those recordings. So I'd just like to take a quick moment to thank everyone for attending the conference and this session today. Our mission at CodeHS is to empower all students to meaningfully impact the future, and we obviously can't do that without the work that you all do as computer science educators. So thanks so much for your efforts, and thank you for taking time out of your weekend to attend the conference today. Really appreciate that. My name is Mike Jaber. I use he, him pronouns, and I'm a customer support lead at CodeHS. I'm located in Chicago, and if you've ever written to support, you've interacted with my team, so it's nice to see you all in a different context today. I have a background in elementary and informal education as well as web design and development, and joining me today is Alex from the CodeHS curriculum team. Alex will be helping out, posting links and supporting the session in the chat. And Alex is also running our poll today. So Alex, I'm going to toss it over to you to do a quick introduction.
Thanks, Mike. Hi, everyone. Yeah, like Mike mentioned, my name is Alex Nunez. I work on the curriculum team. And yeah, so previous to CodeHS, I was also a high school computer science teacher. And yeah, it's been a lot of fun working in these sessions and getting to meet with you all and run the polls. So for today, for this session, the question was, what was the first commercially available video game? And let me share the results. A lot of you got it. Yeah, the correct answer was Pong. I think this has been the most correctly answered poll. So nice. Thanks, everyone.
We got some gamers in the group today. Thanks, Alex. All right. Well, without any further ado, I'm really looking forward to this next session about what comes after the AP test. So why don't we go ahead and get to it. Please welcome today's presenter, Richard Grunewald from Pope High School in Georgia. Welcome, Richard.
Hey, thanks for having me. This is pretty good timing actually on this one because everybody should be kind of wrapping up and prepping for the AP test right now. And then as you're doing that, this is the time that you start planning on what you're going to do afterwards. So that's what I've been doing as well. Every year I tweak all the things that I do with my kids after the AP test. But generally, we always do something that's project based because obviously the kids want to do something at project. And over the years, let me get to the next. Over the years, when we have been doing these, the kids who take my next course, they get so excited about the project at the end that they're like, well, I just wanted to take this course so I could do the end project. And I heard that this year we're going to do this. And I'm like, well, I don't know yet, because I might switch it on you guys, but it's definitely going to be as good as that one or better. My background is I grew up in Wheaton, Illinois. I went to Eastern Illinois University for my bachelor's, and then I did a couple of other degrees after that. Lesley University master's and a Kennesaw State University specialist. I also I'm an Apple developer, not like an amateur Apple developer, I could say. I've got some stuff in the App Store. If you want to look at it, you can sometime. And I do some development on the side, like personal projects and things like that. I'm teaching AP Computer Science Principles and AP Computer Science A, which are two of the courses I use these projects in. And then I also teach a fourth year advanced topics course where if I have those kids that have taken both of my AP classes, then I will let them into that one. And usually we only get about 15 seniors in that class, but that's a pretty great class. We have a lot of fun with that. I used to be a college soccer player, so I still play soccer. I like to fish and do woodworking, and I actually don't end up doing a lot of development at home. I pretty much do a lot of that while the kids are developing things. I like to develop things as well and give them examples of stuff that they could create. So let's get started. All right, so I made a little mini course that you guys can all join. I would recommend just joining the class. And in the course, the first assignment allows you to give your email to me, which of course I will never share with anybody, and I probably will never email you. But what I can do is I can add you to this course, and that way it'll show up in your My Courses tab, and you can just edit the course. You can have it. So that's how I'm going to give this to you if you want it. And the big thing about this is you may use it as it is if you wanted to, but you could also, it's all editable. All the stuff that's in this was created by me. So none of it, you could edit it, fork it, do whatever you want with it, change it any way you want to. So hopefully you guys got that and that's working. Let me see if yeah, there's a bunch of people joined in there. As we're doing this class, I'm going to want you to play around in that course. So definitely join that one. And Alex just put it in the chat. So if you, after this slide, if you need to go back and get that course, it's in the chat for you guys that you can grab it out of there, the link to get in there. All right, so let's get going. The first thing, one of the things we do is game design. Okay, and I don't make them. We have to do a pretty much web-based game design. There's a couple. Most of the web-based programs allow you also to install an app, and some of the students will install the app that's associated with it. But I always choose some web-based game development platform that they can use. And that's the first, one of my go-tos is because all the kids, well, not all the kids, but a lot of the kids would just want to make a game. That's why they started coding, because they play video games and they want to make a video game. And that's one of their main things, or an application, some sort of an application. So let's look at a couple different ways we could do that. All right, I have them use GDevelop. GDevelop is a little more advanced. Kaboom JavaScript, I felt like I do that with my AP Computer Science Principles students. The GDevelop, I use it with more of my fourth year kids, and sometimes with my AP Computer Science A students. And then just plain old regular JavaScript, vanilla JavaScript, and that's a pretty good one for any group, especially a group that has HTML in their curriculum. So if you put HTML in their curriculum, you want to do some JavaScript as your game. So all of these different things that I develop, I do the same format, and let's look at that next. So the first thing is, all the stuff that I give them, I give it to them in CodeHS. So I always make a CodeHS unit or a module. The link for the slides. So Kim wanted the link to the slides, I guess. Oh, there he goes. Alex just put it in. So I always use like I use CodeHS and I just make a module and tell you, before I started using CodeHS in my classes, trying to present this stuff to students was pretty difficult because you're like, well, some of it's going to be in Google Drive, some of it's going to be a Google slide, some of it's this and this and this. So now I just put it all on the platform and embed what I need to embed in there. And that way I know what they've looked at and I can keep track of everything. So you can make the net lessons clean. You can put media integration in there. The one thing I have a little trouble with is I wish, and this is for you guys at CodeHS, I wish I could just upload a video and put it in my, put it in there rather than having a link to a video, because at schools, we all know that almost all videos are blocked. So if we can upload a video, that works. And so my one workaround for that is if I want to use a video, I will put it in OneDrive or in Google Drive and try to give them a link to it, and then they can play it on their browser. So that's my workaround if I need to do a video. Disadvantage of doing it this way is it does take a little longer to do it, and you do get better at it. So I've gotten better at it, but it does take a little longer to set it up this way, but it's worth it in the end. All right, so GDevelop and Kaboom. While I'm going through this, I'd love for you guys to click through the GDevelop and Kaboom units in the course that I gave you guys to play around in and see how I kind of set this up. I pretty much do a similar outline all the time. I give them a whole bunch of resources and things to get them excited, let them look at stuff. A lot of times I'll play a video at the beginning of it where some good example projects. And then I always make something myself and show them, well, this is something I made. But and that always helps when you give them something that you made. Private video on YouTube. I have to look up that one, Sandeep. That's a good idea. I don't know if my school would let that through, but I could check it out. Documentation, and then I let them look through the docs, the tutorials, and the resources that I find online. And I do that while I'm at work, because that way I know that they're not going to be blocked by my network. I'm at a public school. It's pretty locked down, so I have to make sure I do all of that research while I'm at work, so that if it comes through for me, usually it'll come through for them. So that way I can make something that's good for them to use. And then they plan, and I have them document their planning. Obviously, it's a great idea to document planning, and then show how they did it. But I give them kind of a framework to plan. I like to do that. And then they submit their game in some way. Different things allow them to submit. I've been looking at Construct3, Game Maker Studio, Godot, and Micro Studio. I would really love to do Godot, but I can't get the district to install it, even though it's open source. I can't get them to install it on my machines. And Micro Studio was a little complex, honestly, I thought, but I think it's still pretty neat. So let's go through those and have a look a little bit. And if you have questions on these and how I implement them, I just saw that you can upload videos in CodeHS. I haven't figured out that one. Yeah, all these all the ones that I'm presenting today will work on a Chromebook. So the ones that I'm showing you today would work on a Chromebook. I'm not sure about the other ones that I mentioned in the slides, but they all definitely work on a Chromebook. All right. Well, what I'm going to do real quick too is I'm going to go over here and get into the course. Okay. And oops, no, I'll leave it with the slides. So you guys are going through there. Some make code. That's another good one. I'll look up that one, make code as well, that Tim just put in there. Okay, so let me move on. unless anybody has more questions or anything you want to ask about. Yeah, GitHub is not blocked at my school. That's something we had to work on because I have my students do GitHub portfolios, which I'm going to get to in this. Okay. So the second thing I've done is sometimes, like in some of the courses, I'll say, well, these students would like to know about, say, something like cybersecurity, or I give them a look at to something else in the industry. And CodeHS has the resources out there already. So what I do is I'll go through the curriculum catalog and go find a topic, and then I will either make a blank course and put those things into the blank course. If I'm going to do something like a final project where it's going to be on cybersecurity or something like that, I would take these units, put them in a blank course, and then add my own stuff to it. Or I could just add them to the end of my class or one of my courses. And doing it that way is a good way too. So I'll add them to my class, and then I can see how they're doing through it. And I do that sometimes, actually. I'm sure all of you do that with some of your courses, where you look at something and you're like, hey, let's add a little bit of something else in there. And next year, I'm actually building a new course. My school's letting me make a different course. So my fourth year kids are going to have something completely new next year. So that's going to be kind of, I'm looking forward to putting that together for them. Okay, so when I look through the modules, and then I'll just go and assign out of the modules into my course or into my blank course, and then edit from there. Robert's question, if you're in another thing, you'd have to jump over to CodeHS. All you'd have to do is have the kids log in, make a CodeHS login, and then join your class. So it wouldn't, I used to do code.org and CodeHS at the same time. I don't anymore, but yeah, it's totally not a big deal. They can't do it on the same login. They have to make a code.org login and a CodeHS login, but that, and I have kids that use for their AP Computer Science Principles create task. I have some kids that still like to use AppLab from code.org. So they go and they use that still to do those create tasks. Oh, platform is totally similar enough. Not even a problem. Okay. Now this one is actually this one I'm doing this year. And I'm doing this one in my AP CSA. So after the exam, they're going to make a game, a JavaScript game. And before they make their own game, they're going to start by building out a helicopter game that has already been constructed. Now, what I do is, since they've finished Java, technically, according to College Board, but what I do with those Java kids, I used to try and have them make a Java game, but by the end of the AP test, my Java students are sick of Java. They want to do something else. And the other thing is, the other problem they have is porting their games to share. So they want to make something they can share with the world very easily. So we'll make a game in JavaScript, and obviously JavaScript is pretty simple they can post it on a website or make a little Google site and put it on there, or maybe even make a GitHub site, put it in there. So that's what they'll do at the end of this, right after the AP test. In a couple weeks, they're going to be doing it. One of my students was so excited, he already started on it, actually, and he's made something pretty wacky, pretty amazing. He's taken the helicopter game and made it into something completely different, which is a lot of fun. You wouldn't even recognize that it ever was the helicopter game. So take a minute and start looking through those. The helicopter game and some of the stuff that I've got in here came from the CodeHS JavaScript game design, or it's the game design using JavaScript. There's a course, and some of the stuff is I found in there. So if you look in the CodeHS catalog, you'd be able to find that course and look through that one. They've got the game design in Unity, which I use with my 4th year kids. That has been difficult on our school network, but the kids are so interested, they figure out how to make it work. And then they also have the game design in JavaScript, and the game design in JavaScript works fantastic anywhere. So, so any project that don't involve video games, of course. Well, if you wanted to do something that does not involve video games, I would say you could do something with the Expo, with not Expo, with React Native. The React Native stuff that CodeHS has is really good. You look that up in the the catalog. That's the app design with React Native. That's pretty good, and React and JavaScript kind of go hand in hand. My students enjoyed the projects I've had them do with React. My 4th year students do that. So that's another one if you wanted to look into that. All right. I'm kind of yammering on here.
Hey, Richard.
Yes.
We had a question from Robert in the Q&A. If you could talk about your experience moving from code.org to CodeHS, just how similar the platforms are.
So code.org, I feel like CodeHS is a little more intuitive as far as like being able to look at for the students to be able to look at the overall module, but it really looks similar because code.org has those dots and the dots turn green. CodeHS has the dots and the dots turn green on the bottom of the screen. It's just a little different location of that kind of stuff, but the students never have any issue with it. I don't think I ever have to tell anybody where something is, honestly. They can usually find what they need to find. So that's I've never had an issue with that at all, with the learning curve of the platforms. So how long do they need to finish the game? Oh, so the JavaScript game, I only end up giving them about a week and a half, about a week. But they could take more time. It just depends on your kids. I have some classes, and then all of these projects are very similar. Like all these situations are very similar. You have to kind of like read the room. Sometimes I have classes of kids that are really motivated, and they would work on things. And then I have other sections of kids where they're not so motivated, and then I'll have to maybe make it a group project and put and install team leaders, which you can, obviously as a teacher, you get a different batch of kids every year, and each year I have to kind of adjust how I'm going to do it based on the students I have. This year, my APCSA students are much better than last year. And well, no, I wouldn't say much better, but generally better than last year. So this year, my APCSA, I'm going to challenge them a little bit more on the video game design project, the end one. And honestly, there are some kids that make things that aren't exactly what you would call a video game. Like I had a student in that course who made like a little thing for little kids where they like have to find different pictures on a screen, and then they click on them, and then when they click on the right spot, they get like something happens, kind of like a detective looking for things. So yeah, kids can do that instead of making it into like a traditional video game. Like, so there's different ways they can do it. And on this project, it's pretty open-ended. They can do whatever they want to. Actually had kids make quiz games and other things too. And they turn in some really good stuff. So the last one that I have here is make a portfolio. And this one may be something that Taylor would want to do instead, because if you, a portfolio rather than a long-term project, because they can put a portfolio together in not a super, I mean, they could probably do that in a little bit less time. But the idea of the portfolio is, and I use the same formula as well. Like I have them research what are the benefits of having a GitHub portfolio. So they have to look at that and like respond to some questions. It's like who has GitHub portfolios and why do they have them? And then I show them mine, of course, and let them look through that. And that's something they can see, like that portfolio as well. And then I let them look at some different resources to how to do that. And I put the GitHub portfolio project in here as well. My fourth year students start the year with their GitHub portfolio, and then they build on it as they go. And what they do at the beginning of the year is they look for anything they made in either of their AP class or AP courses earlier, and they start their GitHub portfolio by finding maybe the best 4 projects that they had that they made in all of their AP classes that they took with me. Well, there are 2 AP classes that they took with me. And if they took the intro class, they could put maybe a website that they made in there. And they put those all in their GitHub portfolio just to get it going and get it started. Then after that, during the course of their fourth year students, they build that portfolio out. And by the end of the year, some of them look pretty impressive, honestly. You wouldn't think they're high school kids, some of the portfolios they put together by the end of the year. But that's another thing you could do if you don't have a fourth year group. You could do that at the end of AP Computer Science A, because during that course they probably created something that they could put in a GitHub portfolio. And then you could also show them how to use GitHub Desktop to make new repositories. There's all kinds of stuff you could do. I've just started using Replit with GitHub, and you can make a repository straight through Replit now, which I don't know how long that's been happening, but it's pretty neat. I thought that was neat. I could just use Git on Replit and put that through. And that's a really cool way to edit a GitHub page, actually, if you haven't tried that. All right, so the GitHub module, I thought is appropriate, or I feel is appropriate for anything after they've taken 2 or 3 classes, after maybe or towards the end of their 3rd class, they're getting ready to go. All right, so do I encourage students to participate in code hackathons or competitions? I would love to do that. We have a computing club at our school, and the computing club president actually she talks to me about it, and we try to get people going into these code hackathons and competitions. So I kind of do that through external. I don't do it with my students in class. The more engaged students are in the computing club, and then those are the ones that'll do the hackathons. And believe it or not, I have kids that do quite a bit of that on their own. I have some students who come back from a holiday and they'll say, oh, I did this hackathon, or I did this, and it's pretty fun to see what they do. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but over the last two years, I've felt like the kids are getting quite a bit more advanced. And I like the idea of using ChatGPT or Google or Copilot as part of your workflow really makes it. I mean, some of the stuff, and I let them use ChatGPT and Google and Copilot. I let them use whatever they want as resources rather than having to go through and look through Stack Exchange. They do that now, which is what developers are doing too. So, you know, you want to make sure that they're doing what the professionals are doing. So that has really, really upped the game as far as what these kids are able to produce. Some of the stuff that they are making is pretty fun and pretty interesting, and definitely more advanced than the stuff that they used to come up with for me. And I think that's and you know, at first I was thinking, well, the kids aren't going to learn, but in my personal experience with using those tools, they don't solve big problems. I mean, they can help you, but they don't really, I don't feel like they solve big problems, and they can't write code for you. So yeah, they blocked ChatGPT on their district. I'm surprised they don't block it on ours, honestly, but the kids, my kids are pretty good at getting around that. And they actually, you know, if they have it on their phone, they can use it on there too. Another district blocks all AI. Wow. Oh, Chat for Schools runs ChatGPT. I haven't heard about that one yet. Skillstruck. So if you guys are looking in these in the chat, we're getting a lot of good information, which is one of the great things about being at a conference like this. I have to write some. I have a notepad next to me, so I've been writing some things down here and there. All right. So any questions? Are there other questions that we wanted to talk about? Anything else? And I know I was quick. But I thought that, you know, giving you all this stuff, what I'm going to do is after the session, I'm going to go in and get the emails that you guys provided on the first activity in the course. And once I get those emails, I will obviously add everybody to the course, which will take me a little while, because if they're, you know, adding if there's 40 or 50 people, I have to put all their emails, copy and paste them in. But once I do that, this course will end up in your My Courses section, and you'll be able to make a copy of it or edit it, or however you want to use it. But then it'll be, so that's the idea. I built this specifically for this, so I'm not going to change it anymore. So, but I'm going to add you. I'm going to add everybody as a viewer. So when I add you as a viewer, that'll allow you to show us helicopter game. Let me here. I guess I can. Let me see if I can show you the helicopter game. Okay.
Hey, Richard, while you're doing that, I can just kind of let everyone know that there's the final session of the conference starts in about 10 minutes. So we'll be posting the session survey in the chat shortly. While Richard's bringing up the helicopter demo, I'd like to thank him for his time today and talking us through a lot of his expertise and the resources and strategies that he uses for keeping students engaged after the test is over. So I'm going to drop that survey link into the chat right now. And if you have any other final questions for Richard, feel free to post those.
All right, so this helicopter game is not done. Let me see if I have a finished version for you guys to. But no, Maybe I have one in my sandbox. So my sandbox kind of loaded up right now. Should have one. I should have had one ready, actually. So I think I'm not sure if these lessons can be converted to Spanish easily by CodeHS. I'm not, because I built them myself. That's a question from Tony. But yeah, I don't have a copy of Helicopter Game readily available, unfortunately. I have some ones that the students submitted last year, but I would have to go dig through Google Drive to find them. Oh, somebody just posted one. All right. Well, thank you for all the thank yous. And I hope that you got some good stuff, and I will guarantee that by tomorrow, if you look in your My Courses section, you'll see this course.